I heard that Sophia had an accident.
His voice sounded strangely cheerful and excited. It is clearly not the husband's reaction when he hears that his wife has been in an accident. He continued with his remarks.
Sophia has always been careless and clumsy, I always thought she would have an accident someday.
How come he knows about the accident? Or is this just a coincidence? He has a sister who acted as a mother figure to him after their parents passed away. Maybe growing up with just the two of them as a family made him strict with people other than his sister, and I was no exception. However, now I have something important to tell him. I have to say it no matter what.
Listen, Greg. Wait, what? Who is this?
It's not me who had the accident. It's your sister. My name is Sophia, and I am a housewife. I live with my husband Greg and our second-grade daughter Erin. Greg took over his late father's company 5 years ago, and he is now the president. Today, Kara, my sister-in-law who lives nearby, came to visit. Wow, the salad is delicious! Sophia, have you improved your cooking skills again?
Thank you, Kara.
Her compliment made me happy, and a smile appeared on my face. Kara is kind and a good person, and our relationship is good. However, my husband...
Flattery won't get you anywhere, sis. This one here is a complete failure.
My husband said with a sneer, as if mocking me. Don't say such a thing, Greg. I'm sorry for my rude brother, Sophia. No, it's okay, really.
Kara is so kind. Sophia, why don't you learn a thing or two from her?
Upon hearing my husband's words, I let out a small sigh. My husband idolizes her, so he's always in a good mood when she's around. But he still continues to insult me, telling me to learn from Kara and calling me a failure. Then Kara shifted the topic and turned out to her daughter. By the way, Erin, wasn't it your ballet recital recently? I watched the video. You were amazing. Auntie Kara, you watched it. I'm so happy. Thank you. Our daughter attends a local ballet class. There was a recital recently, so I recorded a video and sent it to my sister-in-law.
I wish I didn't have to work,
my husband said in an emotionless voice while tinkering with his phone. Liar. He had the audacity to say he was tired and wanted to sleep at home. Well, not only that, but my husband has never once attended Erin's recital. He may act all high and mighty in front of my sister-in-law, but he has no interest in our daughter. He hadn't attended any school events, let alone spent quality time with us on days off. When my husband went to the bathroom, my sister-in-law discreetly approached me and asked, Does Greg really show an interest in Erin's recitals? Oh, well, actually... My words made my sister-in-law appear apologetic. He lost her mother at a young age and was raised strictly without love from her father. Maybe he doesn't know how to love a child. It seems like he's causing Erin sadness. I'm truly sorry. No, Kara, there's no need for you to apologize. My husband's camouflage was transparent to his sister. There may be some truth to not knowing how to love, but it's my husband's own fault for not making the effort. The problem lies with him. Then, one day, I received a message from my husband saying he forgot some documents at home and to bring them immediately. Indeed, a brown envelope containing the documents was left on the desk. After dropping off her daughter at ballet class, I head to my husband's company. I approached the receptionist and was directed to a room, where I had to wait for a while. Excuse me, Mrs. Perkins? A young female secretary approached me. Her nails were painted, and her makeup was flawless. She seemed like a flashy person. The president is currently busy, so I'll accept the documents on his behalf.
Oh, yes, thank you very much.
As I handed her the documents, the secretary looked me up and down with an impolite gaze. Her intrusive stare made me feel uncomfortable.
Is there something?
Oh no, it's just that when they mentioned the president's wife, I had a certain image in mind. Turns out, you're just a regular person. The woman smirked sarcastically without even saying goodbye and walked away. What was that? How rude! Feeling irritated, I stopped by the restroom in the hallway. As I entered one of the stalls, it seemed that a few employees had also entered. And there, I overheard a shocking conversation. The contents of the conversation was about my husband having an affair with the secretary I just encountered. It seemed like their relationship had started when he became the president, and some people had even seen them together on their days off. Greg is cheating? Come to think of it, there were some things that made me suspicious recently. Since taking on the role of president, my husband often claimed to be working on holidays and would frequently go out. Around that time, he started making more snide remarks and insults towards me. He also became reckless with money and started giving me only the bare minimum for living expenses. I had thought it was just the stress of becoming a president causing all these changes. I never imagined he could be having an affair. That's why she looked at me earlier with that judgmental gaze. I can't believe it. How low can he sink? I was actually disgusted by my husband. I wanted to get a divorce, but as a housewife, I didn't have any money. Making a decision to divorce, especially for the sake of my daughter, wasn't something I could do immediately. The next day, I suddenly decided to check the secret stash of money I had hidden in the dresser. Every month, I discreetly managed our household finances and saved a portion of it. I had hoped that one day we could use this money for a family trip. However, now that I had discovered my husband's affair, I didn't know what I would use the money for. That's why I wanted to confirm the amount once again. As soon as I held the envelope that I had hidden, my eyes widened in disbelief. What? How did this happen? The money is gone. I stared at the empty envelope in shock. I had finally accumulated $8,000, and now it had completely disappeared. I couldn't believe that someone had broken into our house. So then, who could it be? There's no way my daughter would do something like that. It's not her then. Hey, Greg, do you know anything about the money that was in the dresser? That night, I asked my husband about it. He seemed uncomfortable and avoided eye contact when I asked. I didn't let that go unnoticed.
What? I don't know anything about the money.
That's a lie. You just looked away, didn't you? Did you take it? As I confronted him, my husband clicked his tongue and gave me a glare.
Are you accusing me of being a thief?
I say I don't know anything about it. He appeared agitated and clearly suspicious in his behavior. That alone made it evident that he had taken the money. He knew about the secret stash I had been keeping. He must have used it for his affair or something. I can't forgive him. I had noticed his reckless spending recently. The money was for our family trip. Give it back.
Don't you treat me like a thief.
He wasn't backing down either. But this time, I couldn't stay silent either. Do you understand that is theft? If you took the money without my knowledge, that's stealing, right?
Shut up. Besides, it's my money, isn't it? So it was you after all.
What did you even use it for?
Knock it off. It's none of your business.
Saying that, my husband pushed me with all his strength. Losing balance from his push, I tumbled down the stairs. Mommy, are you okay? My daughter, startled by the loud noise, rushed over. Trying to reassure my nearby crying daughter, I tried to stand up. But then, a sharp pain shot through my leg. It seemed like I had sprained it.
Jeez, you're making a big deal out of nothing.
My husband gave us a cold glance and left the house. Anger began to bubble up inside me. Unbelievable. I had been enduring it for the sake of my daughter, but I had reached my limit. I made up my mind and contacted my sister-in-law. I poured out everything about my husband's behavior up until now. My sister-in-law repeatedly apologized, shocked by how badly she had raised him. When my husband returned, he was furious, having been severely scolded by his sister.
You! Don't say unnecessary things to my sister. You're the worst for causing my sister to worry.
Huh. Who is really the worst here? He clearly didn't like being scolded by his sister. From that day on, my husband's verbal abuse became even worse.
You are a stay-at-home wife, yet you're terrible at cleaning. My sister, on the other hand, manages both housework and child-rearing perfectly while helping her husband with his work. How many times do I have to say it for you to understand? My sister cares about her appearance. That's why she's still so beautiful. And what about you? You don't even bother putting on proper makeup, do you?
He seemed to find solace in belittling me by comparing me to his sister. I once again realized that my husband is obsessed with his sister. My sister-in-law was also troubled by his intense attachment to her. It was raining that day. Since I was still nursing my sprained leg, I decided to ask my sister-in-law to pick up and drop off our daughter at our ballet class. The studio was about a 15-minute walk away, so I usually walk there to pick her up. Kara, I'm sorry, but I have a favor to ask. Can you please pick up Erin for me? Of course. With your leg? This rain must be tough for you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Upon hearing that, my sister-in-law happily offers to help out. While doing household chores, I was waiting for my daughter to come back home, but she didn't show up. It's not that far of a distance, so it's strange. As I was thinking about it, my phone rang. It was a call from my daughter's ballet class. They informed me that my daughter hasn't been picked up yet, even though some time has passed since my sister went to pick her up. I wondered if something had happened. I quickly told the teacher that I would go pick her up right away and hung up the phone. Then I immediately received another incoming call. I thought it might be Kara, but it was her husband. Feeling a sense of unease, I answered the phone. Oh my gosh, an accident? That was the news that Kara had been in a traffic accident. Her husband called me because he couldn't go to the hospital himself due to his current business trip. I decided to confirm Kara's safety first before informing my husband about her accident. I knew he would make a big fuss about it. I went to pick up my daughter and rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, my sister-in-law didn't have any life-threatening injuries. She had only suffered a broken leg. According to the doctor, she was involved in a hit-and-run accident while on her way to pick up my daughter. Kara! Thank God you're alive! I'm sorry, Sophia. I made you worry.
No, I'm sorry. It's because I asked you to pick her up. I feel awful.
No, that's not true. It's not your fault. I'm okay. My sister-in-law spoke kindly to me. At that moment, my husband's call came to her phone. He immediately started speaking when I answered for her.
Hello, sis. I heard that Sophia had an accident.
His voice sounded somewhat gleeful and excited.
Well, Sophia has always been careless and clumsy, you know. I've always thought she would get into an accident someday.
Hey, it wasn't me who had the accident, but it's your sister, you know.
Wait, what? The voice. Is it Sophia? What's going on? How come you were okay?
Hey, Greg. What's happening here? How do you know about the accident? I haven't informed my husband about Kara's accident yet. Moreover, he said, how come you are okay? He seems surprised that I'm okay. While suspecting something strange about my husband's words and actions, he rushed to the hospital with a pale face.
Kara, you're safe, right?
After confirming my sister-in-law's safety, my husband was on the verge of tears. Greg, can you explain first? How did you know about the accident? And you seemed surprised that I'm okay. With my fierce tone, my husband tried to evade something.
That's,
Clearly, my husband knows something and is hiding it. Did you mistake your sister for me? Don't tell me you had something to do with this accident. As I pointed out, my husband started trembling. My sister-in-law and I have similar heights and hairstyles. With the rain and using the umbrella, it wouldn't be strange to mistake us.
No, it wasn't me. She did it on her own. If she caused the accident with you, Sophia, so I could get a divorce and remarry. And I would also get the insurance money. That's what she said. But I never imagined that my sister would be the one in the accident.
As my husband confessed, my sister-in-law was left speechless and dumbfounded. The she he mentioned must refer to his affair partner. That's it. Let's get a divorce. I knew about your affair, Greg. I already discussed it with your sister, and we gathered solid evidence. So you were in debt too, huh? There's no way you can deny it anymore. I'll make sure to receive proper compensation and child support.
Wait, Sophia? Just not that. Aaron still needs her father, right?
Then our daughter, who had been quietly in the back of the room, spoke calmly. I don't need Daddy. Having Mommy is enough. Bye, Daddy. My husband was stunned, but I think it's only natural. He never showed any interest in our daughter. When it came to her divorce, he conveniently clung to her as a reason. It was too convenient for him. I had been considering staying in the marriage for the sake of our daughter, but it turns out she had already given up on him. My sister-in-law firmly told my husband, Greg, I can't deal with such a foolish brother anymore. I thought I could support you and your company, but from now on, I won't have anything to do with it. Let's cut ties.
Kara! No, not like this.
Kara's husband also owned a company and had business dealings with my husband's company. If those dealings were to stop, my husband's company would suffer significant losses. The future of the business would become difficult. However, my husband seemed more shocked by being rejected by his important sister than the impact on his company. He slumped down in despair on the spot. Later, the affair partner was arrested on hit-and-run charges. With the loss of major clients, my husband's company went bankrupt. I successfully divorced him, received compensation and child support in one lump sum. Of course, I also received compensation from the affair partner. Thanks to my sister-in-law's introduction, I was able to find a good job with a favorable condition. My daughter's smiles have increased, and she lives each day with vitality.